The stars burned cold and distant in the void of space, their light barely piercing the thick atmosphere of the robed planet Zorath. It was a desolate place, forgotten by the galaxy, where the remnants of ancient wars and forgotten civilizations lay buried beneath the ash-gray soil. It was here, in this forsaken land, that Captain Jarek Voss found himself fighting for his life. Jarek was a mercenary, a man who had long since abandoned the ideals of his youth for the cold, hard credits that kept his ship flying and his crew fed. He had been hired to retrieve a mysterious artifact from Zorath, a relic said to hold the power to reshape the very fabric of reality. But when he arrived, he found more than he bargained for. The artifact was guarded by a half-mutant alien woman named Lyra. She was unlike anything Jarek had ever seen. Her skin was a shimmering silver, her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and her body was a perfect blend of human and alien features. She was beautiful but also dangerous. Her mutations gave her incredible strength and speed, and she wielded a blade made of pure energy with deadly precision. Jarek and his crew had underestimated her. They had thought her just another mutant, a freak of nature to be dealt with quickly and efficiently. But she had proven them wrong. She had slaughtered his crew, leaving only Jarek alive. He had managed to wound her, but not before she had driven him into the ruins of an ancient temple, where he now found himself cornered and out of options. As he leaned against the cold stone wall, clutching his bleeding side, Jarek cursed his luck. He had faced countless dangers in his life, but this was different. This was personal. He had lost his crew, his ship, and now it seemed his life. But as he prepared to make his last stand, something unexpected happened. Lyra appeared before him, her blade raised, ready to strike the killing blow. But then she hesitated. Her glowing eyes met his, and for a moment, Jarek saw something in them that he hadn't expected: fear. She was afraid, not of him, but of something else, something worse. Before he could react, the ground beneath them began to shake. The air grew thick with the scent of ozone, and a low, guttural roar echoed through the ruins. Jarek turned to see a massive creature emerging from the shadows. It was a beast unlike anything he had ever seen, a monstrous amalgamation of flesh and metal, with glowing red eyes and a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth. Lyra stepped back, her blade faltering. "It's here," she whispered, her voice trembling. "The Guardian." Jarek didn't need to ask what she meant. The creature was clearly the guardian of the artifact, and it was coming for them. He knew he had no chance against it, but he also knew he couldn't let Lyra die. There was something about her, something that made him want to protect her, even if it cost him his life. With a roar of his own, Jarek charged at the creature, his blaster firing wildly. The shots bounced harmlessly off its metallic hide, but they were enough to draw its attention. The creature turned its glowing eyes on him and lunged, its massive claws slashing through the air. Jarek dodged the first strike, but the second caught him in the chest, sending him flying across the room. He hit the ground hard, the wind knocked out of him. He could feel the blood pouring from his wounds, but he forced himself to his feet. He couldn't give up. Not yet. Lyra was still standing there, frozen in fear. Jarek knew he had to do something to snap her out of it. "Lyra," he shouted, his voice hoarse. "You have to fight. You can't let it win." His words seemed to reach her. She shook her head, as if clearing away the fear, and raised her blade. With a cry, she charged at the creature, her movements a blur of speed and precision. She struck at it again and again, her blade cutting through its flesh and metal alike. But the creature was relentless. It swiped at her with its claws, sending her flying into a wall. Jarek saw his chance. He grabbed a piece of broken metal from the ground and ran at the creature, driving the shard into its eye. The creature roared in pain, thrashing wildly, but Jarek held on, driving the shard deeper. Finally, with a final, shuddering roar, the creature collapsed, its body going still. Jarek fell to his knees, his strength gone. He could feel the life draining from him, but he didn't care. He had done it. He had saved Lyra. She crawled over to him, her eyes filled with tears. "Why?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Why did you save me?" Jarek smiled weakly. "Because you're worth it," he said, his voice fading. "You're worth saving." And with that, he closed his eyes, his body going still. Lyra stared at Jarek's lifeless body, her heart breaking. She had never known anyone like him. He had given his life to save her, a stranger, a half-mutant freak. And now he was gone. But as she knelt there, grieving, she felt a presence behind her. She turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows. It was a tall, imposing man, his skin a deep shade of blue, his eyes glowing with an inner light. He was dressed in robes of pure gold, and a crown of stars rested upon his brow. "Father," Lyra whispered, her voice trembling. The man, the alien king, stepped forward, his gaze fixed on Jarek's body. "You have done well, my daughter," he said, his voice deep and resonant. "You have proven yourself worthy of your heritage." Lyra shook her head. "No, father. I didn't do this." "He did. He gave his life to save me." The alien king's eyes softened. "Then he was a true hero," he said, "and he shall be honored as such." With a wave of his hand, the alien king summoned a group of his guards. They lifted Jarek's body gently and carried it away. Lyra watched them go, her heart heavy with grief. "Come, my daughter," the alien king said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "It is time for you to take your place by my side. The galaxy awaits." Lyra nodded, but as she followed her father, she couldn't help but look back at the spot where Jarek had fallen. She would never forget him, the man who had given his life to save hers. And she vowed that she would honor his memory by becoming the ruler she was meant to be. Years passed, and Lyra became the queen of the alien empire. She ruled with wisdom and compassion, always remembering the sacrifice that had made it all possible. And though she never forgot Jarek, she knew that he would have been proud of her. As for Jarek, his name became legend. The man who had given his life to save the half-mutant alien woman, not knowing that her father was an alien king. His story was told across the galaxy, a tale of bravery and selflessness that inspired countless others. And in the end, that was all that mattered. For in a galaxy filled with darkness and despair, Jarek's light shone on, a beacon of hope for all who heard his story.